There was a season of my life when I was convinced God wasn't speaking to me. Not whispering, not nudging, not hinting, absolutely nothing. And I didn't understand why. I didn't know what his voice felt like back then. I kept waiting for something obvious, like a sign, a moment, a "this is God" billboard. And because it didn't show up the way I expected, I assumed he'd gone quiet. But now here we are years later, and I can look back and see his fingerprints all over everything. But at that time, I had no idea. So today, I want to walk with you through the moments where God was speaking and the words I wish Jesus had said to me right then. Maybe you'll hear your own story somewhere inside of mine. Now, this is the night that felt like heaven was silent. I remember sitting on my bed one night, hands in my lap, frustrated and overwhelmed. I had prayed and prayed, and it felt like the ceiling absorbed everything I said. I had no comfort, no clarity, just a feeling of loneliness. Back then, that idea never crossed my mind. I genuinely thought silence meant distance. I didn't understand that I had to learn what his voice even sounded like. And now I know silence definitely does not mean distance from Jesus. And a while ago, there was this one morning. I will never forget it. This is one of those mornings where everything seemed to be going wrong. I was already running late. I had gone out to my car and realized I forgot my purse. Went and got my purse, got back out to the car, and realized I had forgotten my phone. Now, of course, after running in and out of the house twice, my dogs were super thrilled to see me, but I was feeling quite annoyed. And at the time, I thought that I was just scatterbrained and airheaded. And at the time, I was thinking, well, I'll go ahead and call my office and let them know that I'm running late. But instead, I received a phone call frantic from my boss asking if I was okay. And I was told that morning a semi truck had flipped over onto a car, the exact same color as mine, and the exact spot I would have been at the exact time I would have been there if I hadn't run back inside those 2 times. If Jesus had spoken to me right then, I imagine he would have said this.
Now, I slowed you down on purpose, and I still have many plans left for you to do.
Now, looking back, I can definitely see it clearly. It wasn't inconvenience, it was protection disguised as chaos. And now, if you have ever experienced this kind of delay and realized that God was saving your life, I would love to hear about it. Because maybe somebody listening has lived through a delay like that too. Something that frustrated you, and later you realized it saved you. So now we're going back even further. And this is a memory from when I was 6 years old. I was outside playing with my Care Bears and my Matchbox cars, just being a kid in the front yard. A rusted, bluish gray car pulled into our driveway. 2 men were inside, leaned out the window, and said,
Hey, little girl, want some candy?
even at 6, something inside me screamed.
Go get Daddy now.
I said,
I have to ask my daddy.
and ran to the front door. By the time my dad burst out, the car was gone. Back then, I didn't know anything about instincts or spiritual nudges. I just knew that something felt very wrong. If Jesus could have spoken to me in that moment, I imagine he would have said this.
That wasn't fear in you, my child. That was me leading you out of danger. You were listening to me before you even knew my name.
And now looking back, I know it was God, plainly and simply. It was just a voice I didn't have a name to yet, but yet I had been hearing it all along. And then came my restless season. This is the season where I would wake up at 3:33 every single night. It was like clockwork. It was like the same minute, the same atmosphere, and the same strange stillness that always had me questioning. I was working like crazy back then. I was carrying as much as I could, but burned out and pretending I wasn't. I thought maybe it was anxiety. It was definitely restlessness, but also thought the time could have been a weird coincidence, that maybe it was just time for me to get up. But now, if Jesus could have spoken directly to me back then, I'm pretty sure he would have said this to me.
Your days were much too loud for your heart to hear me. So I woke you in the only quiet part of your life, the time the world was asleep and resting, and you were awake to hear me.
And honestly, those nights taught me how to sit still, how to begin to listen, and how to lean in even when I didn't understand what I was leaning in towards. So, what I see now, I see so many moments that I brushed off: the delays, the instincts, the wake ups, the discomforts. They were God speaking to me in the only language my overwhelmed life could hear at the time. God was never silent. I was just very inexperienced and didn't know how to tune in. I was unaware, but I was always willing to learn. I kept praying, God, speak to me, not realizing who He already was, and constantly doing so in ways too subtle for the version of me that I was back then. He wasn't distant, He was just giving me room to grow into someone who could finally recognize His voice. And I finally did. If Jesus could go back into those moments, I imagine He'd say,
I've been here the whole time. You weren't disconnected. You were learning how to hear me, and now you do, clearer than ever.
if I could go back, I would tell myself this, and maybe I'm telling you too. Pay attention. God's not only in the miracles, He's in the delays, the instincts, the escapes, the wake ups, the things you call nothing. Those things were never nothing. This is a conversation I wish Jesus had with me. And maybe today He's having it with you. If this made you think about your own life, your own moments where you look back and say, I didn't realize that was God, please share it with me. Your voice matters here, and your story might be the exact thing someone else needs to hear today. Let's talk about it in the comments. And thank you for tuning into our podcast, Conversations I Wish Jesus Had with Me, on Guided by Joy.